behind every one of those images has to be so much work.
Yeah.
Can you take me, like, can we talk about a particular photo?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's one that stands out to me. It was about 2 years ago in New Zealand. It's a dolphin photo. And I think I had like a week left in New Zealand, and I hadn't visited this place yet. And I pull up to there's a beautiful bay, and there's just like dolphins out there swimming around. They were like kind of pretty far offshore, maybe 400 or 500 feet off the shore. And so I was like, all right, well, I would really love to somehow be able to capture these dolphins, because they kind of jump out of the water, and it's just really cool. So I ended up going back into town and renting a paddleboard, and taking all of my camera gear out on that paddleboard. There's no protection on it or anything. So if I fall over or if I drop it, like, it's gone. So I'm risking thousands of dollars just to get out there. So yeah, I'm paddling around for, the first day or so. I was probably out there for about 8 hours, and the pods just kind of kept swimming away. I didn't really have much luck. So I was out there for about 2 or 3 days, just baking in the sun, with my camera floating around. There were a couple of times where I was like, whoa, like, thought I was about to go over. A little wave hit me, and I got a little scared. But yeah, I think it was on the third day, probably like 20 hours clocked at this point. I had a pod come around me. They were circling around me for maybe a few minutes, and started jumping around me and everything. I had my camera ready and snapped a few shots. I couldn't really tell what I captured at the time, but yeah, I mean, that image there, it was just kind of the risk versus reward. A lot of time went into it, and it's one of my favorite images to date, just because of the story behind it and just the experience, just being out there, surrounded by the dolphins, and just being in that moment was also pretty incredible. Alaska was top of my list though, and was lucky enough to visit there in June of this year, and that exceeded all of my expectations. Just so wild, pristine, and untouched. One of the days, our guides, he's a bush pilot as well, so he flew us from the Lake Clark National Park. There's the lake, and then it stretches all the way out to the coast, which I think is maybe 200 miles. So he flew us in his little Cessna, I think it was Cessna 500 bush plane. We flew the 200 miles from the lake where we were camped at all the way to the coast. That's kind of where the Grizzlies are known to hang out. So it's like almost a guaranteed opportunity to see them. And just the flight out there alone was like nothing I've ever seen. It was unreal, just how the landscapes changed. So we're flying
completely raw.
Nothing out there, nothing but just wilderness for hundreds of miles. So we get to this beach. It's called Hallow Bay. There's no one around for miles and miles. And he just there's maybe 15, 20 feet of actual beach to land on. So he pulls down, and we land on this pebble beach, which is just wild to me. I was like, I can't believe that just happened. Pulled up this remote beach, no one around, and you see bears off in the distance. There's probably at one point probably 6 to 8 like grizzly bears just in every direction. Some like only 50 feet from us. It was crazy though, because it's like we're in their home. It's very humbling to just I don't know, to see them, and for them to kind of respect us in a way. We're that kind of that mutual respect where we're in their home, but they're still kind of unfazed and doing their own thing. They acknowledge we're there. You make eye contact with it, and this thing could take me out if it wanted it at any moment. But yet I'm face to face with it, and there's just some kind of like understanding.
You've mentioned several times that what you're doing is storytelling.
Yeah.
And telling stories.
Yeah.
Did you know that when you started? Did you know that did you know that's what you were doing when you started?
I think that's what I've realized over time. I mean, that's ultimately what kind of makes a good photo. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So yeah, just being able to share or to tell a story without telling a story through a photo, I think is what separates a good photo from a great photo. It's obviously a bit of what I see and how I interpret things. So I'm sharing my own journey and my own vision with other people, but also with the wildlife and landscapes, because some of it may not be around forever. And being able to capture and document that, it's always changing. Like I've visited a couple glaciers before, and they're receding pretty quickly. So that photo might not exist in 20 or 30 years. I've kind of lived in a camper van or a van for 3 or 4 years as well, which
Really?
I also kind of saw as an opportunity to put myself out there more and have more opportunities to be out there in the field and capturing things. It can be hard to balance everything. I mean, there's a lot more involved than just spending the hours and taking the photos. There's a whole business side of things, which is a whole nother ballgame. It's a lot of learning, and the industry evolves so quickly as well. It's hard to keep up. So I think I'm still trying to figure out the balance aspect. I don't think I was built to sit behind a screen, but I spend a lot of time behind the screen doing admin and website stuff and all kinds of things that kind of make it work. Almost like you need a lot of different avenues just to stay afloat. So I mean, I'm hoping over the years that I have more of a streamlined process where I can have a little more balance. But yeah, it can be tough, just running your own business in general. I think always comes with that challenge, feeling like it's hard to compartmentalize and separate your personal life from business, because that's all you've got.
When you look into the future, what does success look like to you?
Honestly, just being, healthy is probably my biggest idea of success. Healthy and happy, and I think having a little plot of land somewhere in the mountains, grow my food, and maybe have kind of a something set up to host maybe workshops or retreats. I've always kind of liked the idea of living sustainably. So that I feel like if I was that would be the idea of success for me, I think.
If you ever do that, I think you would have plenty of demand.
Yeah.
Find a way.